Today on Jacksonville's Retirement Coach, our host Adam Wolf walks us through an essential end-of-year checklist to make sure your retirement plan is ready for 2026. From tax strategies to portfolio adjustments, this episode is packed with tips you don't want to miss. Adam is a certified financial planner and president of Wolf Retirement Navigation. Visit wolfretirement.com or call 904-232-8760 to schedule your year-end review and start the new year on solid financial footing. Adam, how are you?
I'm doing great. How you doing?
Doing wonderfully. I can't believe that we're at the end of the year already. I feel like we just blinked and it's here.
Yeah, I know. We just had our, our Christmas party for our clients. We had a great time at the Jacksonville Car Museum. Lots of everybody wearing their festive gear and in front of all these, super cool cars. And
so fun.
I'm not a car guy, but it was really neat to see everybody together and the food was great. So yeah, that was a wonderful, wonderful thing.
Love it. Do you have pictures we can find online that you're going to share?
We've posted online on Facebook and LinkedIn and Instagram. I don't know how that works, but Robin has done that. So
awesome.
But yeah, it's really cool because a lot of folks were like, hey, well, are you raffling off one of these, multi-million-dollar cars? I was like, no, we're not.
I would have been there if that were the case.
Yeah, exactly. And then we'll head over to Jack's Pal, the West Side Center. And we want to just thank all of our clients and friends who had donated toys and/or cash to buy toys for the kids over there. We have approximately 40 kids that we bought, gifts for in total between our clients and us. And we're gonna go over there with some pizza and just give all the kids some gifts and just spoil them rotten right before Christmas.
That's amazing. Amazing. And speaking of gifts, it is also a certain someone's birthday month. We celebrate the whole month. So
the whole month, yes.
Whole month, Adam's birthday month.
Yeah. Every year it's like, it's a little older, but less hair, and I'll take it. Well earned.
Getting older is a blessing. Well, now that we are officially in the holiday season, you're talking about gift giving. I had to do a little research on this, but I was curious what the annual expenditure is for the holiday season. And I have to say it was much more than I expected it to be. Did you know that Americans spend $950 billion during the holiday?
Wow. I had no idea.
Staggering to me. That rattled me a little bit. That was way more than I anticipated. But all of the holiday spending got me, the gears working in my mind. And it reminds me that it's the end of the year and we need to be talking about end of year strategies and portfolios and getting everything in order so that we start off 2026 strong. And so I wanted to throw it out there and have you sort of talk us through what are some must-dos for the end of 2025.
Yep. So a couple of them is maxing out retirement accounts. If you're still working and your employer has a 401k plan, a 403b or TSP, maximizing those amounts, for 2025, $23,500 is the max you could put in. If you have a Roth component to that 401k, that's something also to look at to put money away tax free. If you are 50 or older, it's an additional $7,500. And then they have a special provision. It's called the Super Catch Up. It's for age 60 to 62. Why they pick these ages, who the hell knows? It's the government. But
at least there are half ages. We should be grateful for that.
I know. We're down to one last half age, 59 and a half. We've gotten rid of all the other ones. But no, 60 to 62, $11,250. So, I know it's at the end of the year, but anything you can get in there before the December 31st will qualify for 2025 as an amount that you could put away and then start fresh in 2026. As for IRAs, it's up to $7,000 per person, over age 50, $8,000. That, however, can be done by April 15th of next year. So, or your filing tax date. So if you file your return March 15th, you need to do the contribution by March 15th, not April 15th, but you can put it off all the way till April 15th.
I wanted to know your thoughts on, we often hear, taking advantage of the 401k to get to make sure that we take advantage of that company match. But how do you balance, or do you have a recommendation on if someone does have that Roth option, how much should go into the traditional 401k versus how much should go into the Roth? Or I'm sure some of it is individualized.
Yeah, big time individualized. But in rules of thumb, if you're younger, you need to put money into Roth, in my opinion. Why would you? Let's just use an example. Let's say you're in that 22% marginal tax bracket, whereas if you can put money away in your 401k, you save 22 cents on the dollar. Sounds pretty good, right? Mm-hmm. What if you pull that money out 20 years from now and that 22% rate has gone up to 32 or 42 because our federal government can't get its act together to balance its budget. So they have to raise taxes to raise revenue to pay all these bills. So why would you put money away at 22% to pay it out at a higher rate? That doesn't make sense. So you put it away tax-free. It grows tax-free in the Roth. You take the money out tax-free. You don't have to worry about taxes. As you get older and as you at your peak earning years, it may make sense to diversify that away from the traditional into the Roth, but that's a case-by-case basis. I can't give recommendations on that. I know some people say do everything in Roth, but there's a balancing act with everybody's individual situation.
Well, since we're talking the topic of Roth, another end-of-year conversation is a Roth conversion. Give me your thoughts on that. I know we're cutting it a little close because we're getting into the very last weeks, but technically there's still time because we have until December 31st.
Correct. Yeah, we do a lot of those end of the year. We get a pretty good sense in November, early December, what the income was for the year for each individual client that we're working with. And does it make sense to move? Because what a Roth conversion is, you take money from your IRA in this example and move it through a conversion to your Roth IRA. That's moving it from a tax-deferred account, pay income taxes when you move it, and then never pay income taxes again on it within your Roth IRA. So why would you do that? Because I have a lot of clients that are that are going from the 12% bracket into the 22% bracket, or the 22 to the 24, or the 24 plus. So we want to make sure we're using up the rest of that bracket where appropriate. Before, like, let's say we have 20 grand left in the 12% bracket. That means you can take that 20,000, convert it to a Roth, okay, and then pay taxes. 12% of 20,000. You pay taxes now on it and never pay taxes on that 20,000 again once it's in the Roth. You've used up that low bracket to your advantage. We've done a lot of that, and that's something that you want to look at, especially with the low tax environment we're going to have for the foreseeable future until DC changes it again.
Is there an age range where Roth conversions are more ideal?
It's not really age, it's income. For me, because let's use an example of a client who is in the last couple of years of working. This is the most money they've ever made because they're at the peak of their career, at the end of their career. And they might be in, the 30s, 30% plus brackets, or 30% average tax rates.
Sure.
It doesn't make sense for a lot of them if on paper they're paying in the 30s now to convert, because then you're paying in the 30s. But in retirement, we've structured it to where they're either into 12 or a little bit into 22. So I would rather convert, in this example, instead of 37%, I would convert at 22% once you're retired. Mm-hmm. So you're saving 15% to convert. And, if you're early in your career, which we have, a lot of the kids of the clients we work with, it makes more sense to put money away. And, or if you have IRAs from previous employers, to convert money when you're in your lower years, lower income and earning years as well.
Another hot topic for this time of year is RMDs. We know that, some people wait until the very last minute, or they might even get surprised. It's their first year of having an RMD and they didn't plan accordingly. Maybe they're self-managing and they're finding themselves in a situation that they weren't prepared for. Talk to me a little bit about RMDs and what people need to know as we wrap up 2025.
Yeah, RMDs they used to scare the bejesus out of us. 50% penalties if you didn't take your RMD. Now, I never had seen any personally, even when I meet with clients for the first time. I never read about them, and I've had to ask IRS for permission with the taxpayer if they say that client came in, brand new client came in saying, hey, I forgot to take my RMDs the first year. you have a couple options. One is you're supposed to take a minimum amount out of your IRA or your 401k every year once you are now age 73. Mm-hmm. It used to be age 70 and a half, and then it was 72. Now it's 73, and eventually it's going to be 75. Okay, so in between now and then, they may change. So we have to be careful there. But you have the first year rule is the first year you're supposed to take it out, you have until April 1st of the following year to take it out. So say you're 73, you miss it for whatever reason, you can take it out the following year by April 1st. But then you have to take your second year RMD out as well. So I tell most people to do it before December 31st so you aren't just crushed with additional income when you had to take 2 in 1 year. Now, that's number one. But number two is if you look at those RMD penalties, that used to be 50%. And if you didn't take it in time after year one, then you can report on your tax return. First, you got to take it out, then report on your tax return on a specific form asking IRS for forgiveness. And I've seen a lot of those with new people that I meet with, and we help them with that. And it gets rid of that penalty, and they just they waive that penalty. Now they've reduced the penalty from 25% or 50 to 25. They're going to go down to 10. It's now at a penalty range, which I could see the IRS starting to really enforce. Before to enforce 50%, that's just, it's thievery at that point. Mm-hmm. And so, but 10%, that's doable for a lot of people to pay. But if you're supposed to take out 20,000, 10% of 20,000, that's a lot of money. So. Sure. The good news is you need to take it. The first year you have until April 1st of the following year, but take it before December 31st. Get it going. Doesn't mean you have to spend the money. A lot of people are already taking the money out of their accounts to live off of. Mm-hmm. But if you're not, doesn't mean you have to spend it. You can either add it to your savings account, emergency funds, big ticket, enjoy it, or reinvest it in a brokerage account or something else that's going to grow for you. Doesn't mean you have to take it out and spend it.
If people are worried about taxes or an RMD bumping them up, there is an option if they're inclined to give charitably anyway. Talk to us a little bit about a QCD.
Yep. QCD is qualified charitable distributions. They've been in place for many years now. And what happens is if you are RMD age, now technically it's age 70 and a half. So you don't have to be RMD age yet. So if your RMD age is 73, but you're still charitably inclined at 70 and a half, the year you turn 70 and a half doesn't have to be the day you turn 70 and a half. Right. You just have to be in the year. You can take out and send directly. Say you work with Charles Schwab, who does all of our custody work for our clients. Mm-hmm. Charles Schwab can send a charitable donation to your 501c3, your charity, your church, wherever it is, and they send it directly. You can't touch it. So if you usually, say you tie $10,000 a year, you can send it, send it directly from Charles Schwab. That's considered a QCD. What happens when you usually take money out of your IRA? It's taxable, right? Mm-hmm. But if you take it out through a charitable QCD or the QCD, that is non-taxable to you. So it doesn't show up on your tax return. So if you're giving money to the church, to the charities anyway, through your checking account, you might want to think about sending it from your IRA to have it reduce your not just this year's taxes if you're taking RMDs, because it can eliminate RMDs, but it can reduce your overall tax bills throughout your life. So that's a pretty cool thing that the government allows. They put limitations on it: $108,000 for singles, $216,000 for married folks. So we got to stay underneath those numbers.
But it doesn't necessarily have to be if you're just trying to stay under a tax bracket. To your point, if I'm going to give money to my church anyway, mm-hmm. I might as well give it with pre-tax money. I'm now not bumping my own taxes up, and I'm not giving it as post-tax money to a charity that would be a 501c3 anyway.
Correct. Yeah, correct. Until QCDs, a lot of people would take money out of the IRA, put it in their checking account, and then pay the charity directly from the checking account. So washing it of taxes. This is going to eliminate some pretty good tax bills.
The last one that I had on the list, certainly you can add anything that I missed, but was the idea of deferring any end of year income. Should we be so lucky to have a bonus or unexpected money coming in from work that we maybe, weren't planning on, if we're self-employed or things like that, we can consider the idea of deferring that income and then take the distributions for that on next year's taxes if we feel that might bump us up. Thoughts on that?
Yeah, that's a case-by-case basis because,
Sure.
most of the people we're working with are a couple of years away from retiring and or already retired. So, if you're still working and if you could defer, especially if you're in a higher tax bracket than you would be if you were retired, at least initially. I see a lot of people in the 20s and 30s% brackets, even higher, come down to the 12 and 22. That makes more sense to defer because when you pull the money out, you'll be pulling it out at lower tax rates, and we still have some time.
More stays in your pocket.
Yeah, more stays as stays at Schwab or the bank or your 401k company.
We know that we're just literally weeks away toward the end of the year. Is there anything else pressing that you feel clients or you're telling your clients, hey, we're buttoning up 2025, get this last thing done?
Yeah, if you have a brokerage account, not an IRA, not a 401k, not a Roth, but a brokerage account where you have investments. And we look at this for our clients is we take a look at all of the different, positions, the different holdings. And, in a typical portfolio we have about 12 different positions to 15, depending on the portfolio. And so we'll go down each individual position to see if there is a gain or a loss. Now, this year, the majority of them had gains, almost all of them. So there's very little losses that have not been, they call it realized. Realized is when you sell something for a gain or sell something for a loss. Until you sell it, it's called unrealized in the eyes of the IRS. So you're not taxed on it, or it doesn't become a loss to you to take advantage of until you sell it. So we'll take a look at the positions and we'll say, oh, there's something we can sell to offset a gain. And so it's called tax loss harvesting. And in years where there's been lots of volatility, we'll take advantage of the losses. And what that means is, hey, you sell something to offset the gain, and then you buy it back because we still like it. We just have to buy it back 30 days later, so we still can take advantage of that loss, and that reduces your overall tax liability. But while doing that and by doing that, so that's why we like it.
So if I had a share of a stock and it was 100 and it dropped down to 50 and I had that loss on all of my shares, then I'm going to sell it at the loss. I'm taking that as a tax deduction, and then I'm going to wait the 30 days and I'm buying it back. Is that my understanding?
You'll take it as a taxable loss to you, a capital loss, and that loss will go against any capital gains that you have first, and then up to $3,000 against your ordinary income to offset. And then whatever you don't use, you get to carry it to the future years. You never lose it.
So all of these intricacies remind us of the importance of having someone on our team that we can sit down and have a conversation, because you as a financial advisor are going to be thinking of things in my portfolio that I might be not prioritizing. I'm busy enjoying the holiday season and wanting to celebrate with friends and family and not thinking about these end of year tasks that you're mentioning. And I know with you and your clients that are currently with you, you're checking this list twice, a la Santa, but but not everybody is. So if somebody's out there and realizing, you know what, I don't have that accountability partner, I don't have that advisor that is keeping my best interest in mind, how can they reach out to you, and what does that initial conversation look like?
Yeah, you just give our office a call at 904-232-8760 or go to wolfretirement.com to find out more information. But yeah, that first conversation that we have, it's either in person, over the phone, or Zoom, and we sit down and we talk about, what are your goals? What's going real well? What's not? We got to be able to add value to the situation. Mm-hmm. Hey, you have all this stuff that you've saved, or you have these income sources that are coming in retirement. How do you put it all together to reasonably grow it, protect it, to have the lowest tax and the lowest fee bill that you can have. And that's what we help our clients with every day.
So as the year comes to a close, take that time, give yourself a gift of having the confidence that knowing you are stepping into 2026 with a financial plan. Again, you can visit wolfretirement.com. That's wolfretirement.com to schedule your year-end financial checkup or just sit down and have that complimentary consultation. We're wishing you all a very joyful holiday season and a prosperous new year. Thanks so much for tuning in.
Investment advisory services offered through Coyle Capital LLC, a registered investment advisor. Wolf Retirement Navigation LLC and Coyle Capital LLC are not affiliated. Investing involves risk, including the potential loss of principal. No investment strategy can guarantee a profit or protect against loss in periods of declining values. Opinions expressed are subject to change without notice and are not intended as investment advice or to predict future performance. Past performance does not guarantee future results. Consult your financial professional before making any investment decision. This information is designed to provide general information on the subjects covered. It is not, however, intended to provide specific legal or tax advice and cannot be used to avoid tax penalties or to promote, market, or recommend any tax plan or arrangement. Please note that Wolf Retirement Navigation LLC and its affiliates do not give legal or tax advice. You are encouraged to consult your tax advisor or attorney. Annuity guarantees rely on the financial strength and claims paying ability of the issuing insurer. Any references to protection or benefits or lifetime income generally refer to fixed insurance products. They do not refer in any way to securities or investment advisory products or services. Fixed insurance and annuity product guarantees are subject to the claims paying ability of the issuing company and not offered by Coyle Capital LLC. Florida Insurance License Number W016816.